So yes, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me for today's CoolCare Masterclass. This one looking at our new features and a general Q&A. So we'll be, as I'm sure you're all aware, CoolCare is here to make operating your care home easier, more efficient, more profitable. And with the nature of today being a Q&A webinar, you could use Zoom to ask questions on the Masterclass. You should find a Q&A option on your window where you can type up a question in there and I'll be able to answer it as we go through. And I do have some backup today from our team as well. So if there's any questions I don't answer live on here, we'll be able to answer it for you instead as we go through. But what we're looking at today is a few new features that have been added to CoolCare recently. Firstly, we're going to be looking at the Inquiry Connect service, which is now available to use for your inquiries. The debt management updates to our accounts and receipts features to see debt management for your residents invoicing, as well as a brief look at the advanced reporting CoolCare, a very new option that you may have had an email about this week, looking at some ways to see reporting on CoolCare in more detail. So once we've gone through that first bit of those new features, then we'll be able to open up the session for any questions people have on anything in CoolCare, not just the new stuff I'm showing you. So it'll be a general Q&A after I've shown you all our new features. So with that in mind, I'm not going to waste any time and we will get started. I'll just swap over to my demo system. I can get things sorted for you. Right. There we go. We should all see CoolCare on my screen now. So the first thing I'm going to start with is looking at the Inquiry Connect service. So what this is if you might assume by the name, it's to do with our inquiries in CoolCare. As I'm sure you're all aware, the way to manage inquiries in CoolCare previously was you had to create the inquiries yourselves through the inquiries page by adding in all the details directly on here and filling all the information for the inquiry yourself. Now, with the Inquiry Connect service, essentially you can embed a web form onto your website, which will connect directly to CoolCare to be able to create the inquiries for you directly from the initial form filled out. I've got an example one on mine I can show you. This was set up before. And on this thing, our website we've got here, if I scroll down, I should find, there it is, I've got an inquiry form. So I can fill this form on here. All the details you see on here, the information that's required is the same across any form that's set up. And so you can put this form onto a website, inquirers can fill it out, and then that will create an inquiry on your CoolCare system. So when it links directly in CoolCare, they can choose which home they're interested in from your group, and they can fill in their details, as you can see in here. I'm just going to fill out say a name and that. You can see an email address is required on there as well. So actually, all details in here are required on that. And some additional details they can fill out as well, such as how they heard about the home, in this case from the website itself, we could say. The nature of their inquiry, which would be the different permanency types set up in your system. You can have them through there. And that's, they can say if they're inquiring for themselves or if they're doing it on the behalf of someone else, as well as then the details of our current of their current residents and other stuff like that. The questions come in already on this asking, does this form have to include all the questions as shown? It would, yes. Essentially, the way it works is when you can get in touch with our support team and they'll be able to send you essentially the stuff to get this form linked onto your system on there. So it's just a direct web form that feeds from your website onto CoolCare. On that. I suppose that answers another question that's coming as well, which is, does this integrate with any existing systems? It would not. It's essentially through CoolCare's API, you can get it, say, linked into CoolCare, and that's all it would link in with rather than anything else on there. On that. And again, another question that's coming out is possible to tweak the CSS? Yes. So essentially this we'll just give you the code in order to be able to embed it on your website, and that could be tweaked to suit your obviously formatting and everything from the web development side of things. It's just essentially the code that gets sent in order to embed this onto your existing web page. So I fill out the rest of the details on mine here. I can then get this inquiry added onto CoolCare. You'll see. Open whatever it is. It added a message on there as well. And then once they submit that inquiry, there you go, you see that's been received, and immediately that will get sent to your CoolCare system. If I just reload my occupancy management page on here now, you see the new inquiries on there immediately. And the way it works, it creates it essentially as an active inquiry, but with nothing, essentially nothing on there to start with. So from there, you'll be able to go into the inquiry, see the details that have been created, the notes, essentially if they sent a message of it, that would be in the notes there. But all the basic inquiry details that they filled in have come across onto here, as you can see, the respective resident details. And as I said, they were doing the inquiry for themselves. That's filled out in there. Otherwise, if they said they were doing it for someone else, it would just be the contact details that are filled in on there. And also you can then tweak this data once it's in your system, but it just gives you a starting point. Rather than having to fill in everything from scratch, you get something on here to then be able to create your inquiry and progress it from there. Say from that, it works like any inquiry in the system. So makes things a little bit easier for those first steps of inquiry. Just you can let people fill out the form themselves, and you can then pick them up from there for your home. So if you are interested in that, it's completely free of charge service we are offering. Get in touch with our support team. They'll be able to essentially get it activated and send the code for you to be able to embed into your website. And from there, you can get it up and running and get people to start using it and send their inquiries directly to your system. That's if you're interested in that, to say it would be our support team to get in touch with. I'll give you the contact details for them a little bit later at the end. So that's our first feature there, the Inquiry Connect. Next bit I'm going to show you is regarding our debt ledgers and accounts on CoolCare. So there were some recent changes to the accounting and with the receipts in CoolCare. If you're aware of in the invoicing side of things, you can upload receipts onto CoolCare now to keep track of payments for your invoices from there. And we've also updated more recently this week the accounts page. So if you've seen this before, this will look a bit different now from what you might be used to. The accounts page now shows you kind of your outstanding total from your accounts, what the accounts to review, essentially what invoices have not been paid. You can see directly on there what's outstanding, what's overdue, what's unallocated from your receipts from there. There's a few settings relating to this that can essentially show how it's going to work. And these settings need to be accessed at company level. So if I change to training homes, there's a little settings button at the top there. Essentially just two settings on here. There's an overdue calculation starts, which essentially says it will only look for invoices that have been raised after the date you set in there. So it's not going to, it's not going to pick up all your historic invoices and say all of these are outstanding. You can set a date to say from this date, these invoices are the ones that we want to track on CoolCare and mark them as outstanding in there. And you can also set there an invoice overdue after so many days, so just how long it would take before the invoices are counted as overdue. You can set that in there. I want to say it's for a week. I can save that. It might say actually we'll do only everything that was generated from June onwards. Save that. And you can see my totals update in there to say slightly less review now from there. So with the accounts here, obviously, it shows you what's going on with each account. As you can see, some total outstanding stuff. I can even filter down this list to look at certain accounts types and contract types. So I'll say just my current residence and say just for a certain council on there. It narrows down the list for me. And I can see if any accounts have outstanding invoices, it will tell me in here if I click into one. We can then see the details of the accounts and the invoices that are outstanding for it. Again, it gives me the balance, how long things are overdue, any unallocated receipts, if there were any. You can see all the invoices created for those accounts historically in there. All these ones that say not available are just not applicable even, are the ones that were obviously generated before the date I set in the settings, so they're not worried about chasing those. But there's two that were generated after the 1st of June here that it's looking at on there. You can also see any receipts created for those accounts. I've got two in there from previously paid invoices. And the details of the invoices themselves. So one here that was paid, you can see it says there the receipts, the two of them in there. If I were to check those, click the little arrow icon on the right-hand side, it tells me which invoice relates to which receipts in there as well, how they link together. And you can even add notes onto these as well. I click the little messaging icon there next to the arrows. You can actually put an invoice on hold. So if I said if you need to put them on hold or if they do not chase up to a certain date, you can pop a date in there and that could be updated as needed. As it says, it'll put that invoice on hold. And you can even add notes onto both the individual invoices and the entire account But anything you might need to know about them, anything, outstanding circumstances or anything to aware relating to their payments and invoices can all be set up in there. You can see, say what's overdue. Can actually take you to the invoices themselves directly from there as well. And if I were to add in an receipt for them, you'll be able to update it from there. So if I just find who it was I was looking at again, bear with me. What's that one there for invoice? The account is that one. Let's grab that. And so if I created a receipt for this account, I can then allocate it to that invoice. If you're in our previous webinar, when I looked at the receipts themselves, you can add a receipt onto accounts on here just by saying what account it's for, the payee name. It's going to be the council in this one. In there, and pop in. I'll do a number on there, transaction type, and all details we need, and the invoice amount of which should be £3,200. I put it in for. So once you've got the amount and the receipt details in here, you can select the invoices to allocate it to. So I can go for the most recent one from the 13th of June and allocate that from there. Pop in the full amount on here, save it. Will be a date paid, of course. Save that. And that receipt in there will then feed back to the accounts. If I find them in here, again, I just need to filter it slightly. And there they are. And you can see there how it changes to say the invoices have been paid. That. And again, if I click into the invoice, it will even tell me there the total receipts now on the invoice itself. On there, back on the accounts. Oh, just find that again. That one. Quick little arrow icon there, and it says there the receipt linked to the invoice. There. So yeah, that is the kind of updates the accounts page itself in there, keeping track of those debts, outstanding stuff from there, be able to track all of that. As well as that, there is a new reports to help with this as well in our residence reports page, which you can see in the fee and contract reports there. If you're familiar with this, there's a new report there, the age debt view, which, for your description, as it says there, will display the outstanding customer balances by the aging period, helping support your cash flow. So, running that. This is a unique one in the reporting here in terms of how it works. As you can see, it's not a direct export right away. It gives you a page to show up, showing me details of I can filter it in certain ways, looking to just certain homes, by certain, how it will group the reports, either by payer type, in this case, the different payers, or the contract type for my different authorities and types. And you can even filter, kind of group it two ways. I can do it by the contract type and the payer type to split it out even further, or by home. It can include if anything's on hold or not in there. And the state of the accounts, whether they're active or inactive, i.e. are they current residents or are they discharged residents? And it will change the numbering in there so slightly. So then I can see all that accounting outstanding debts in there. And you can see the option right at the top right corner, you can export this from CoolCare as well. Either just looking at just the age debts, which will respect all the filter and grouping, or a full export of everything that would be there, regardless of the filters. And to show you what that looks like with the export version, it's just the same detail, just in an Excel spreadsheet. So you can easily get that data out of the system once you've filtered it down how you like. There you are. That's kind of your debt view you can get from the reporting side of things. All of that stemming from the receipts and the accounts set up for them from there. Yeah. If you plan to use CoolCare track payments, I say your receipts all feed into the accounts, which all feeds into the reporting on here. And it will affect the actual invoices themselves, as I briefly showed. On the invoices, with new invoices you generate after the date you set for the accounts view in there, it will basically be able to tell you if the invoice has been paid based on the receipts you set up. So where previously you would just have to type in that box or tick a box to say it's been paid, now it will be able to work that out automatically for you based on the receipts as well. As well as asking there, can you import receipts in bulk? Yes, you can. Again, if you're accessing CoolCare at company level, like I've got on mine at the moment, on the receipts page, there's a bulk upload option. And from there, you can download the templates from the system to then be able to import all those receipts from there. So yes, you can do the bulk upload of your receipts as well That's and if you are doing them one by one, there is a nice little thing on the actual receipts page when you're adding one in to just go add another, which will just, when you save it, take you straight to the add receipt page again to add in the next one from there. So you can do them one at a time directly after another from that. Or yes, there is the bulk report available. Just remember, you need to access CoolCare at company level to then be able to get that bulk upload option. That's lovely. So yes, that's our second feature there with the age debt reporting. I think all feeding from your receipts and accounts, and the reporting available as well alongside that. Now, last thing to show you is the big one that I'm sure people might be interested in the most, which is our advanced reporting. So this is something you may have been emailed about or heard about from our on there. So what it is essentially a more powerful reporting tool. So can separate from the CoolCare system itself, where we have our preset reports and small custom reports you can make for the for residents and staff records. The advanced reporting is looking at more, well, as much as it can to be able to pull your data together and allow you to create reports and dashboards to see your business from kind of the CoolCare perspective. So it's enabled for you obviously it will be enabled for users. You can choose who enables it with your permissions, and if they have access to it, we can have a look in there. So give it a moment to load up. And when you load into the advanced reporting, the first thing it will try and load up are your dashboards. So multiple dashboards on there. We've got two dashboards presets of the system at the moment, a management dashboard and an inquiries dashboard. The management dashboard looking at general management stuff for the business, as you can see in here, giving you some details on your occupancy in there, your total invoice value, hours worked by staff in there as well. And then those details as different reports. You can see how there's different charts and reporting options for them on here. Stuff like, well, you can see there a line graph for our worked hours over months in there, admissions and discharges over time in there, and invoice values as well. And there are filters you can apply to these as well, so I can filter it so it's looking at my full company at the moment. Before I look at just my home, I can narrow it down, also just a certain company even in there, which is just the one company. In there, and there's a separate filter here for the homes themselves, where I can say, I'll just look at just my home on there. I can tweak the date range I want to look at as well, but by default, that's do it for essentially the last year from today, as you can see. And if I apply those filters, the data changes in there, as you can see. That's hopefully if I get rid of that filter, it should just then filter it for the home as well. Might just be the one home on mine. That's so you can see how the filters change things on there, and this is just an example of some of the reports it can show you for general management things. As I mentioned, the other dashboard we have at the moment is for inquiries, which is reporting on inquiry details in here. We've got some nice stuff, as you see. So general kind of some figures there of inquiries, average of your inquiries in there, how many homes it's looking at. The best performing month for inquiries there you can see was July 2023 on mine, apparently, on that. And you can see there the inquiries by permanency, by care type. You can see the options on here for the reports, by funding type, how it breaks things down on there. And plenty of other stuff in there as well, inquiries over time. So seeing how many inquiries I've had on different month to month on there. Inquiry conversion performance in terms of actually inquiries becoming residents on there, and how long it takes to convert an inquiry into a resident as well. Again, over time, you can see that, and comparing it for your homes in there as well. That's someone's asking a good question on there. Will it be able to everyone? So the advanced reporting, I will mention at this point, is an additional feature on CoolCare, so it would be an additional charge for your account for it. I don't have that information to hand how much it would be. But if you were interested, again, I'll give you the details for our customer success team, who will give you all the information for how much this is to add on to your system. So thank you for, I think that's one on there. But I say this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg in terms of the preset dashboards that are already there. The idea is with the advanced reporting is you can customize this reporting and create your own reports from this page. If I kind of can browse the data that's available to look at in the systems. Some of it will be this will be kind of set up by our team and will be updated over time with new data sets it can look at and information to see. And you can essentially take that data however you like and create your own reports with it. It's, say, a very powerful tool. Essentially, you can create what you want in there, reports, a dashboard in here, and choose what data to look at from there in terms of the data you can see on there, stuff like staff records, inquiries, inquiry contact specifically, in there, admissions and discharge. So that's what we have in there now, the details that can be reported on. But it will be, say, going to be updated over time in the future to have more information on there to be able to report on. Essentially, the idea is ideally everything in CoolCare should be able to go through the advanced reporting formats. So it's very much a watch this space at the moment kind of thing. It has content available there now to see and stuff to play around with to create your own reports and dashboards to show exactly what you want to see on the system. And you can filter those out to look at whatever you want. But it's very much a watch this space. It's only going to get better and more powerful as we work on it. And as I say, as you work on it as well, you can be able to create your own reports and dashboards to show whatever you would like. So it's a big piece of work that is being worked on there. So if you are interested, as I say, I'll give you the details for our customer success team to see about that getting added onto your system. But yes, it is additional available on there. And the good thing with it as well, just to mention, is in terms of permissions, if you're worried about people seeing what they shouldn't be on there, its permissions are tied to your CoolCare permissions. So whatever people can see on CoolCare, they'll be able to report on just those things in the advanced reporting. It's not like they're going to be able to get around the permissions by seeing that if they have the reporting available. So that way, kind of everyone can use it. It doesn't have to be just a top level thing. It can be for those who see whatever they need to. That's yeah, as I say, it's a very brief look at it for now. But if you are interested, I'll give you details of our customer success team at the end to go through any questions. Well, to get the ball rolling with you on that if you're interested. But yeah, those are the newest features we have available on CoolCare. The so the Inquiry Connect form, you can get in touch with our support team, and they will tell you what. I'll give you the contact details for them now while we're talking about it. Here we are. So if you're interested in the Inquiry Connect form, you can contact our support team, send them an email, and they can get all the stuff you would need for that to get set up on your own website. Simply just embedding a form onto your web pages from there. With the advanced reporting, you can email customer success, and they will be able to manage your account on there and get you the details for that to get that out to your system. But the one in the middle there, the debt management, the receipts, and the account stuff, that is all available in CoolCare right now. That's free of charge. That's just an update to the system that happened this week. So you should be able to access all that stuff right now and start using that account management from within CoolCare itself. So yeah, that's it for the new features side of things. So now we're going to move on to the second half of the session, which is for any questions people have. So you can use the Q&A on Zoom and you can ask questions in there and I'll go through them one by one on there. If you're just interested in new features, that was all to show you. So thank you for stopping by if you do. But do hang around if you do have questions on anything. I'll be answering them for a little while. Now, we have a question come through immediately there, which is regarding there's nowhere so we can add receipts to pay cash ledger. Where would you suggest they are stored? So for receipts and stuff you might have related to residents' petty cash, they would be, imagine, actual physical receipts you've got. You can add those into CoolCare as documents. So under your residents page, in the resident records, if we go into a resident on here, so referring to the ledger under the billing side of the residents section, this is where you can add in a cash balance, petty cash ledger for residents for any spending they might have. And it can say if you've had receipts for them, there's a tick box on there, but you can't attach the receipt directly to the individual item. If you want to get that receipt on the system, I would recommend using the documents under the residents page there. That's just where you can upload any external documents you might have onto CoolCare, just with the insert button. You can call it what you want, the receipt for a certain purchase, the date it was done, and then just choose a file from your computer on there. That's quick clarification on that. We were talking about the home ledger, not the residence ledger. In that case, unfortunately, there wouldn't be anything. Say we have document storage for the individual residents on CoolCare, and for staff records for stuff. But we don't have any document storage for the home itself. The ledgers in the care home are just the ledgers themselves. There wouldn't be any separate document storage for those, I'm afraid, on there. Apologies for the confusion on that one. But if you were putting on your residence, I'll say you can add receipts onto those if you would like. So that's our first question. Another question's come in. CoolCare likes to add bulk diary notes. Add the same notes as say 20 residents. So the way to doing it is rather than adding it one by one. Unfortunately not. For updating records on CoolCare, there's not really a way to do it en masse. You can upload the initial details onto CoolCare in bulk, but for any updates, it would be done on an individual level. I assume we're talking about, if I go into a residence, the under the documents, you've got the general notes tab there. You can use that for any additional notes you have for residence records in there. You have the same thing in the staff records as well. And they're just essentially a big text box you can type in there with that for anything you have. Unfortunately, say there is no bulk update for staff or resident records. It would be stuff that's done individually rather than bulk uploading them. Oh, and a quick follow-up to that. So not bulk transactions. Again, the only kind of, I guess, bulk in that sense would be, well, you can generate invoices for residents in bulk, and then you can add receipts for those. As I mentioned, you can upload receipts in bulk. But in terms of transactions, instance, depends what you mean by it. If you're talking about the resident ledgers or stuff like that, then no, again, it would just be individual updates that would be done on resident records. The only stuff that could be done in bulk on CoolCare is adding in resident records. They can be uploaded in bulk. Same with staff records. For staff training, that could be uploaded in bulk, and the resident receipts could be uploaded in bulk on there. Everything else will be done on an individual level, essentially, on that. Hopefully that answers the question there. Excuse me. We'll give everyone a few more minutes to answer, ask any other questions you might have. If you do have any more, please feel free to put them in the Q&A on Zoom and I can answer whatever it is you think of. Give you a couple more minutes to think of anything. We'll make it 1:30 now, so we'll give it a few more minutes, a couple more minutes if anyone thinks of any other questions, get them in now. If we don't have any more questions in the next few minutes, then we will be able to wrap up and finish today's session for this week. So yeah, now's your last chance. If you've got any other questions, feel free to pop in the Q&A. We'll be able to answer whatever you've got. Give you 2 more minutes to think of anything. The question has popped up. Show to the credits receipts. They'd be mattered on very much the same way as the regular receipts, just by going through your receipts page. You can add in, I believe, same as you would a regular. I think I do have some credits I can assign them to. Let me have a quick check. This one here would work. Just grab that account number, the payer name. I guess would be, I'm not sure what to put there. We'll put the name of the home in there. Transaction type, the receipt reference, and the amounts. All you do to pay this credit is put it as a minus. Same as you would create a credit on CoolCare, you would just pop it in as a minus figure. And then from there, we can select the invoice, see the £30 credit in there, and that should be able to be assigned on there. Just like that. You see it there, it says it's all been allocated. And saved it like that. Oh, as always. Oh, there we go, a second. I am, in that case, certainly glad someone asked, because at the moment, credits there cannot be done. I was incorrect on that, do excuse me. So at the moment, credits cannot be put in because they have to be a positive number on the receipt itself on there. So let's put it as 30. Will that still work the same way? No, it would not. It still thinks it's a credit on there. So there you go. There's your question. For now, credit receipts cannot be done on CoolCare because it doesn't allow negative values in there. I don't believe I can set it as a credit looking at it on here. Oh, silly me. I am incorrect once again. There you are at the top there. Set it to a credit. Problem solved. That's now a £30 credit in there. And if I pop in the £30 there, now it's a credit for them. So remember, if you are creating it for a credit at the top there, make sure you toggle at the top there to say it is a credit. Don't try to put it as a minus like I did. There you go. Every day is a school day, even for me. So we're always learning stuff about CoolCare on these sessions. That's why we do them. So thank you for asking. There we are. That's how I would handle your credit receipts. Just make sure to send it to a credit at the top of the page. There we are. Yeah. No questions have popped up. Again, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes just till 25 to, if there's any further questions, now's your last chance. 1 more minute in that case. And if not, we can wrap up for today. That was the last question. All right, that's 25 past. I'm going to say we call there. The other questions have come through. So thank you all for joining for today. Just before we do finish, a couple things to mention. If you are interested in taking any further training on CoolCare, feel free to get in touch with us at the training team. We can check what training you have available. You may have some free of charge training available as part of your CoolCare subscription. So if you do want any further training on the system or on anything at all, feel free to email us or call up our team and we can check your entitlements for training and potentially get something booked in for you. As well as that, as I mentioned previously, you can get in touch with our support team or customer success team for anything else you need, support team for any questions you have using CoolCare or for getting set up with the Inquiry Connect form. And customer success, they can get the ball rolling on your advanced reporting, excuse me, or for just any queries you have regarding your account and subscription, they can assist you from there. Otherwise, thank you all for joining me for today. Hope today's session's been useful for you. Learning about our new stuff on CoolCare. And I hope to see you next time. We do these Q&A sessions every 4 weeks, and we've got our regular sessions, Q&A, regular webinars. We've got a new one coming up next week. We'll keep the rotors. So I do hope to see you all again soon. Thank you all for joining, and enjoy the rest of your day.